our mindsets. The blessings of the Lord are not a curse to us. He said He adds, and when He adds to us, there's no sorrow. But I think the enemy can come through sometime and just mess with our minds, and we're going to see this. Look as we examine this. David's family also grew larger. When he first came to Hebron, he had what?
2 wives.
2 wives. Ahinoam and who?
Abigail.
Yeah, this Adrian smiling over there. Abigail. So he got those wives in his struggle. When he was running around and all that, 2 ladies, that was plenty for him. But when prosperity came, Sister Abigail wasn't enough. And Sister Ahinoam wasn't enough. Contrary to God's will, he married how many? 4 more. All right, 4 more. Maacah, Haggith, Abital, Eglah. By these 6 wives, he had 6 sons, 3 of whom were to be a grief to him: Amnon, Absalom, and Adonijah. He had other sons later. So we see sometimes in that prosperity, we produce problems for ourselves. If he had just stuck with his 2 women and the kids, I think everything would have been okay. But as he began to multiply, he was a great soldier, but his family life was falling apart. We got to be careful. He looked great in front of everybody on the outside, but at home, he didn't have enough time. Running around to the different houses with the women and stuff. I mean, kids, he didn't know which kids, which one is this one, you know? And so all of these things are occurring, and we can see a demise in a little moral character. Also, I want you to put a note. We know one of David's biggest sins was adultery with Bathsheba. I want you to see that it just doesn't happen. It's an adding process that's occurring. He becomes a little looser, more women, more wives, more kids, and he feels freer to do what he wants to do because God is blessing him. We got to be careful. I think in the blessings, we need to be closer to God so that we don't crash and burn. Yes, ma'am.
Question. So he had these 6 wives, so they all didn't live in the same compound they all had? The wives had their own different household?
Within the palace or whatever he had, they usually have their own room. Sometimes it was divided up that the wives would actually live in the same compound.
Right.
They would be in the palace and they would have a wives' place. And that's where they knew each other. It was accepted. Salt Lake City, those who practice polygamy, that's how they usually do it. Some even have in the same house, you have your own room. And all the ladies take care of the babies and go from there. And the man kind of does his thing like a bull. Yeah, he just goes. But you remember that in the Bible, there was a question between the sisters, and they were like, tonight is my night? And they would have their different nights. And that's just the way they did it. But God has never blessed polygamy. From the beginning, God always wanted one. But because of sin and man's way and women's way, we see this coming. And it's always a problem. When you look through the Bible, whenever you got a whole bunch of wives, amen, man, there's always problems. There's always problems. We're going to see it here too. Any other questions, comments? All right, let's go to the next verse 6. Someone read it.
Now it was so, while there was war between the house of Saul and the house of David, that Abner was strengthening his hold on the house of Saul.
Good, good. There was a comment, a question. Yes?
Why you can have more horses?
Control. It was power. It was the whole thought as you multiply your armies. We're looking ahead. David is going to get in trouble because he's going to number his people.
Right.
And so it was the whole thing of just adding stuff, multiplying over and over just to say, I have it. So that was the whole process. God wanted him to be connected that it wasn't by his power, but it was by God's power. So the more you multiply, you're pretty much saying, I can handle this. And that's what David was getting into. Makes sense? All right, so it was his military edict. That's what God was trying to keep them always subject unto his power and his glory. So that David can never say, or Solomon say, it's by my might or my power that I've gotten this. Good question. Look at this particular scripture here. As this whole process is going, who is rising up in power now? What particular name? Abner, all right? So Abner, he is on the side of what? Saul, or who's the leadership? Ishbosheth, all right? Keep that. Now we remember Abner, right? What do we remember Abner? What are some notable things with Abner? Abner. Remember the battle by the lake? All right, we got that particular one. Do you remember his brother? You remember Joab and Abner, their brothers? You remember that whole process? All right. When the guy was stabbed and his bowels came out, cousins and all of that. I want you to keep these minds. Keep this in your mind. Abner, Joab, all of these are still connected. We're working up to something real big because there's a family feud that's still boiling. Okay, so now Abner is on the side of Saul, Ishbosheth, but it's growing at this process. It's growing. Now Abner is not supposed to be taking control. It's supposed to be the king, and that's Ishbosheth. But they have a weak king. Ishbosheth is not powerful at all. Abner is the one that's in charge. So now we see this rise of power. Someone read that commentary, please.
For Professor Sermon Ishbosheth, Abner was actually strengthening his own political position because he saw that balance of power shift to David.
All right, the balance. We see this in politics now. You know, presidents, vice presidents, secretary of states, you know, they have a shifting of power and they try to increase their power to get to the place. You see it in over dictatorships, you know, people taking over. I mean, it's how our politics runs and how the world politics. The strongest one usually can push their way through. Look at verse 7. Someone read, please.
And Saul had a concubine whose name was Lisbeth, the daughter of Ahiah. So Issachar said to Abner, "Why have you gone to my father's concubine?"
Woo! Mark? It's like the guiding light as the world turns. So popular, it really is. So Ishbosheth, the king, he has some concerns. All right? He has a concern about who? What's the name? Rizpah. All right, Rizpah. All right. Something goes down, he thinks, and he accuses Abner of what? Relations with his concubine, and concubines were like second level wives. Okay, they'd have kids for the king and everything, so they weren't full wives. They were just kind of the legal mistress. Yes, thank you for that word. I didn't know that word. Thank you, sir. The legal mistress in that time. So the concubines would actually live within the compound, but they knew that they weren't as special as the wives. Okay, so you had the wives, then you had the concubines. So Ishbosheth had a concubine, Rizpah, and he believes that Rizpah is sleeping with Abner. Okay, and he accuses Abner of this. Ishbosheth accused Abner of having a relation with Rizpah, a concubine of Saul, and probably interpreted this as an indication that Abner wanted to seize control of the 11 tribes. This is the commentary we put, but I think on the flip side, I've been thinking about this. I think he's just concerned about Abner messing with that which is supposed to be a part of his household. He's weak, so he's actually, we're going to find out, he's afraid of Abner. But this is more of a, he's thinking about himself. This is pride. Men have pride. We got things going on. I think this is a pride issue. I don't think he's going out as far as that I'm going to lose the kingdom, but pride at this point. He's trying to protect that which he thinks is his. Very important. Any questions, comments? On the same page. All right, verse 8, someone read, please.
Then Abner became very angry at the words of Ishbosheth and said, "Am I a dog's head that belongs to Judah? Today I show loyalty to the house of Saul, your father, to his brothers, and to his friends, and have not delivered you into the hand of David. and you charge me today with a fault concerning this woman.
What's going on? What do you read? What does it
Like
say?
Bill Clinton.
What's he saying? All right, I didn't have relationships with this woman. What else?
After all I've done for you, and you gonna get upset with me about this little thing?
After all I've done, I protected you, fought for you, you gonna get upset about Rizpah. You gonna come to me about this? About this concubine? She ain't even a wife. She's just a concubine anyway. All right. So we see the pride. And look, he says this. He says, "I have not delivered you into the hand of David," which indicates I could have. All right. How dare you come to me anyway? Because I could have turned you over. And you charge me today with a fault concerning this woman. Now, it seems to indicate he's denying it. Okay, and as we go down, we're going to find out in the commentary, we're not sure whether he did it or not, but it's a dangerous thing that Ishbosheth has done at this point. Look at verse,
Pastor
yes.
Ben too, I think he had no respect for her. He said this woman instead of calling her by her name, this
Right.
woman.
Right?
Yeah.
To them at that point, she was just a possession.
Yeah.
You know, and he was saying, she's not even a wife. That's what she was saying. And you're treating me like a dog's head that belongs to Judah. He said, you're treating me like the lowest of the low of our enemy over this second-rate woman. That's basically what it came out to. Why are you going to start an argument about her? And so now the pride is rising even more and more. Any other comments, questions? All right, someone read 9 and 10, please.
May God do so to Abner, and more also, if I do not do for David as the Lord has sworn to him, to transfer the kingdom from the house of Saul, and set up the throne of David over Israel, over Judah, from Dan to Beersheba.
He's upset. Yeah. When we get upset, we put some stuff out there. All right, you're going to charge me with this? Then I'm going to do something too. It's going down. I've been thinking about this a long time anyway. I ain't like you anyway. I didn't like you anyway. I was just waiting for something to do. I'm going to turn everything over. Someone go ahead and read that commentary, please.
Whether Abner was guilty of this, we do not know. He denied it vigorously and disrespectfully and announced that he would transfer his allegiance and that of the tribes of Israel to David. Ishbosheth was powerless to resist. Am I a dog's head that belongs to Judah? Meaning, am I a worthless, contemptible traitor who has been loyal to Judah in the past?
He's upset. He's mad. He's angry. Again, we don't know if he did it or not. I guess the question is, do you think this was worthy of even bringing up? Yeah.
I just remember later on with when David dies and there's an issue with Solomon and one of the sons asks for David's concubine, and Solomon gets all crazy and says, you might as well ask for the kingdom. So obviously, even though they're concubines, there's still a lot involved with this. That kind of makes me think about like if like a king had this Rolls Royce that he always traveled around in, and then somebody decided, well, I'm going to ride in the Rolls Royce. And even though it's just a car, it's like, that's the car that the former king rode in, so are you trying to say you're the king now? It's kind of just it's an appearance thing. You're walking around like you're the king, and you're not the king.
And that's going to be the issue. Betrayal. What makes a king? All right? It used to be by bloodline, but we see Abner is rising in power. David is still in the background. David is the one that God has anointed. So we got to figure out how God is going to do this, even with all this mayhem that's going on. Look at verse 11. Someone read, please.
And he could not answer Abner another word because he feared him.
Very important. Ishbosheth, after this accusation from Abner, he got quiet. And you know, it backed down. It was like who had the biggest chest? They were sticking it out. And then when Abner said that, all of a sudden, all the air went out of Ishbosheth. Oh, man. maybe I went too far. You couldn't answer him another word. And Abner knows that. Abner knows that he has the upper hand. We got to be careful. We got to trust in the Lord and not in our might, because our enemy, he looks at us and he wants to take us down. But thank God for Jesus. We all have our failures. We all have our hang-ups. But thank God for his angels around us that keeps us strong. Look at verse 12. Abner's upset. Someone read, please.
Then Abner sent messengers on his behalf to David, saying, Those is the land, saying also, Make your covenant with me, and indeed my hand shall be with you to bring all Israel to you.
What's going on? What's going on?
Is he bribing?
Okay, he's bribing or whatever. What's he saying? Put it in your words.
He's trying to make things okay. He's trying to smooth it over.
Okay. He's telling David, hey, whose land is it anyway? You make a covenant with me, and indeed my hand shall be with you. I'll bring all of Israel to you. I'll help you to unite Israel, in essence, because I don't like Ishbosheth. I don't want to serve under him, and so let's make a deal. Let's make a deal. And he has the upper hand at this point. Verse 13, someone read, please.
And David said, Good, I will make a covenant with you, but one thing I require of you. You shall not see my face unless you first bring Micah, Saul's daughter, when you come to see my face.
I heard a little laugh from some men in the house. What's he saying? See, we forgot. You remember Micah way back? All right, you forgot about her? That was Saul had promised him. He had actually gotten the foreskins of all those Philistines. He fought for this woman. All right, he did. He had to shed blood to get this woman. He said, hold up, it sounds like a good deal, but could you bring my first wife back here? Now he already, how many wives does he have? Six. They weren't enough for him. He's like, you know what, I'm just the first one there. That's the best of us. I'm telling you, listen. I'm telling you, you got to trust in the Lord. Be satisfied with what you have. He said, first you need to bring Michal, Saul's daughter, back to me. Before David would agree to Abner's proposal, he demanded that Michal, Saul's daughter, be returned to him, hoping thereby to strengthen his claim to Saul's kingdom. Okay, that's one perspective. I think the whole purpose. David, we see this desire, David, to want more women. Keep this in your mind, because this is going to be a generational curse. All right, it's going to go down to Solomon. And one of his downfalls, he loved many women, and because of that, he began to love other gods. Very important. All right, let's continue on. Verse 14, someone read.
So David sent messengers to Ishbosheth, Saul's son, saying, Give me my wife Michal, whom I betrothed to myself for 100 foreskins of the Philistines.
All right, so he goes back. He remembered that fight. He remembered all he had to do for it. And he sent messengers to who? All right, Abner approached him to make the deal. All right, so now David sends the messenger to Ishbosheth, the king, because he's actually in charge of Michal. And he's saying, don't give, Ishbosheth doesn't understand everything that's going on with the exchange that Abner said. David approaches Ishbosheth on the fact that she was already mine. All right, I won her way back when. I need you to send her back to me. But what do you think has happened? All those years have passed by. You think she's just been sitting at the house? No, she done moved on. Life has moved on for her. Verse 15, someone read, please.
And Ishbosheth sent and took her from her husband, and Paltiel, the son of Laish.
This is sad.
Yeah.
Now David's getting stronger, so now he has some chips. You know, send her back to me. Well, she's already married. She's remarried to Mr. Paltiel. I mean, they're happily married and things are going well, and all of a sudden, Ishbosheth the king says, sorry. She was never yours in the first place. And he takes her from Mr. P. What do? Verse 16, someone read.
And her husband went along with her to Bahurim. So Adam said to him, go, return, and he returned.
Mr. P was up. Mr. P was broken. There was something about her.
Yeah, there was something about her.
There was something about her. I mean, Mr. P, he was happy. They were happily married. Everything was going well. King said, you got to return her. And all he could do was cry. I mean, and it didn't say cry. Actually, in the Hebrew, very powerful. When you see weeping, homeboy was snotting. He was broke. He was broke. He was all composure was lost. I mean, all composure was lost. Look, he went behind her weeping. So Abner said to him, what did Abner say? Remember, Ishbosheth gave the word, but Abner is the one who's in charge. Abner is like the bodyguard. He's the leader of the army. So he's the one that actually goes and gets her because this is a deal. Ishbosheth doesn't know the whole deal, but Abner knows the whole deal. Makes sense? So we got all this whole politics that are going on, portion that we know the whole thing, but they only know half the truths that are going on. So Michael is the bargaining chip. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm confused.
Okay.
That wasn't David supposed to be this good man that, I mean, he got away from Saul and
When it comes to women.
just, he was just supposed to be good. Like, now he's becoming a bad person, seems like to me.
And that's where we find out we need Jesus. Remember, this is pre-Christ. They didn't have the keeping power of the Holy Spirit that we talked about yesterday that changes our old nature. They were still dealing with that old nature. The Spirit would actually sit upon the kings at times, but it would lift up. It wasn't on them all the time. And so we see that saving grace wasn't there. Now, that still doesn't give an excuse. We do see his moral complexities. I'll put that out. He has some issues. He likes women. He's a murderer. He's killed, and we're going to see that, but he still loved God. He didn't always seek God, but in comparison, he wanted to do God's will in a sense. But we know the flesh. We struggle with that flesh. And just think, if you didn't have Jesus, if you didn't have the Holy Spirit, how much junk would you be caught up in? And we got the Holy Spirit. How many times have you fallen down even with the Holy Spirit? So I'm not really taking up for him. We do. I love the Bible because it does show his issues. It shows his issues and it gives us hope and lets us know how powerful the Holy Spirit is now, why Jesus had to die. Deacon.
Yeah, I look at it, King David was a man after God's own heart, but King David made a lot of mistakes, but the good thing about him, he would acknowledge that he sinned over times after time. He made some big mistakes. But when you get so hard-headed that you want to acknowledge that you sinned, see, God can't help you. He'll turn you on to reprobate mind. But that is the thing that's so good about the cross, that Jesus died for all our sins. If we will ask for forgiveness, I'm not saying sin will, but when you get caught up and ask for forgiveness, then he forgive you.
You're right. Someone read that commentary. You'll forgive.
Ishbosheth deeply assisted, and Michael was
Assented.
and Michael was brought to David to the great grief of her husband. David's personal life was thus become further entangled, and another dark chapter was written in his file.
Is there. Takes her. That's a part of the deal. Technically, she was his, kind of, but still hurt is coming out of choices. How?
But we haven't seen him seek God since he became king. Everything is becoming a chess game to him. And I just see this as a precursor of what's going to happen later. He's going to take somebody else's wife who wasn't even his in the first place. And you see this whole entangling when people lift you up you start to see people not as people, but as things. And so this is just a transaction for him. He's playing a game of chess. He's playing to win all the kingdoms. He's like, cool, I got Abner on my side, now let's make stuff happen. And he's not even seeing what he's doing to family lines at this point.
We do see prayer. We haven't heard him pray in a long time. And I encourage you, every decision, pray. Just, I got this. No, you don't have this. Pray and ask God. 17 and 18, someone read, please.
Now Abner had communicated with the elders of Israel, saying, in time past you were seeking for David to be king over you. Now then do it. For the Lord has spoken of David, saying, by the hand of my servant David, I will save my people Israel from the hand of the Philistines and from the hand of all the enemies.
Abner's chess game has started well into it. Abner's talking to Israel. All right, we know the prophecy has come forth. Hey, let's go ahead and do it. Let's make David the king of everything. We don't like Ishbosheth. He's weak. He doesn't have charisma. You know, all this thing. He accused me of sleeping with the concubine, everything. Let's go to David. Everybody likes David anyway. They really do. They like David. He's a champion. He's a military. Goliath. He has Goliath on his record. Anybody who has beaten Goliath is good. Okay? And it's simple. Ishbosheth has no military victory. Remember, I talked about this a long time ago. Our presidents used to be military people that were extinguished in Army or Air Force. They had done something. They were generals. Now we've got presidents that they've never been in the military. They don't know, but they're supposed to be the chief officer of the military. Did you know that? Our president is supposed to be the top one of our armies, our Air Force and everything, which some of our soldiers have had an issue with that. How can a president lead me that's never even been in the military? So we see here at this point that Abner, that military leader, respects David because he is a champion. Look at verse 19, someone read.
And Abner also spoke in the hearing of Benjamin. Then Abner also went to speak in the hearing of David in Hebron. All that sing good to Israel in the whole house of Benjamin.
Abner is very serious about bringing this kingdom together. He's upset with Ishbosheth. Now, I keep focusing on that because you got to know what's driving him. He's angry. If Ishbosheth had never came to him about that woman, we would not be here. And so, what things have you done in your life because people have made you mad? They made you mad, and you wouldn't have known, you didn't like them anyway, but when they made you mad, now you were like trying to take them down, do whatever you needed to do, and God doesn't like this. Even in this, Abner is going to have to deal with this later. Don't forget that. Bianca.
I kind of stick up for Abner there because in my mind's eye, probably a lot of people in Israel are saying, why don't we just go to David? And Abner's been trying to stick up for Ishbosheth and say, and you all know we're supposed to follow Saul. Saul's son is supposed to be the king. So he's probably been getting a lot of flack all this time trying to support Ishbosheth. And then Ishbosheth comes up and accuses him of something. He's like, all I've been doing for you, all this flack I've been getting for all these other people trying to follow you, forget it. I'll just go follow David like everybody else wants to do anyway.
Did I ask a question there too? Wasn't this kind of the same thing that David got hung up? He was Abijah's husband. He did some work protected, and then he turned on, and David get ready to wipe him out, and she come in and brought supplies.
Right. So we see this character, even with Abigail, Deacon Lenny brought out, that David, he gets caught up in sagas over and over again. Someone read 20 and 21, please.
So Abner and 20 men with him came to David, that David people, and David made a treaty with Abner and the men who were with him. Then Abner said to David, I will rise and go and gather all Israel to my lord the king, that they may make a covenant with you, and that you may reign over all that your heart desires. So David sent Abner away, and he went and did.
Oh, Abner, 20 men, they went to the White House. It's kind of like the Black House, right? But the other house, and a dinner was served. They ate real good. And basically Abner said, it's sealed. You got Michael, I'm gonna go talk to everybody, and Israel is yours. You my king, I love you, all is good. But there's a problem. Abner brings 20 men to the house of King David, but Joab wasn't around. Okay, this whole deal was made without the chief military leader under King David. Now, we already know Joab has issues with Abner because Abner killed his brother. Don't forget that. I know y'all like, oh my God, my head, all of these characters. If your brain is getting warm, it's a good thing because this lets you know the Bible is true. I mean, you just don't make up stuff like this. These are very details, and we see human nature that's coming out. So everything is connecting well. Look at this next verse. Where are we at? Verse 22?
At that moment, the servants of David and Joab came from arrayed and brought much spoil with them. But Abner was not with David in Hebron, for he had sent him away and had gone in peace.
All right, so now the troops coming back in. Abner has been sent away with peace. So all of these things are just like the timing. The timing is impeccable because if Joab had gotten back when Abner was there, it would have hit the fan. But now at this point, we see Abner's gone in peace. He's going to bring Israel together. And Joab gets home with the troop and is like, what's going on? Because there's whispers all over. You know what? Abner was here under Ishbosheth and David's going to be king. And he came in, they had a big feast and the chickens and all of that stuff. Y'all missed it. Y'all missed it. So all this buzz is going on. Verse 23, someone read.
When Joab and all the troops that were with him had come, they told Joab, saying, Abner, the son of Ner, came to the king, and he sent him away, and he has gone in peace.
This is key. He has gone in peace.
So that means they agree.
Yeah, they agree. All is good. King David agrees with who?
Abner.
All right, which is the enemy, but a truce has been made via Micah and all of these things. But Joab wasn't a part of the truce. All right, to Joab, Abner is still his arch enemy, and to further add to that, he killed his brother in cold blood and left him laying on the street. Okay, he has not forgotten that. Okay, very important. Verse 24 and 25, someone reads.
Then Joab came to the king and said, what have you done? Look, Abner came to you. Why is that you sent him away? And why has he already gone? Surely you realize that Abner, the son of Ner, came to deceive you, to know you're going out and you're coming in, and to know all that you are doing.
Put it in short form in your words. What did he say? What did Joab tell him? He's a spy. He's a spy. David, you've been real smart, but you missed this one. You missed this one. He came in to spy on you. They want to take the kingdom. But we know the driving part of his heart, Joab's heart, he's upset with who?
With David.
No,
Abner.
The brother.
Abner for killing the brother. And I put this question, you got to think, how often have we made assumptions that were wrong? Because we were driven by something else. We wanted something. I mean, how often have you gotten in trouble because you weren't honest with yourself? I try to be honest with myself. I was trying to, today, I wanted another biscuit. I really didn't need another biscuit, but I went ahead and ate it anyway. I'll be very honest. Bianca told me not to eat it. I said, I wanted it. I just wanted it and I ate it. And so we got to be honest. Sometimes we lie to ourselves. We try to make excuses and we try to, why are you looking at me, Mom? We try to make excuses and everything. Let's just be honest with ourselves. You need to examine yourself. James is very clear. We sin because of what? Why do we sin? Because we want to sin. Yes, you do. You do what you want to do. You do. Stop making excuses. Well, if it wasn't for such and such, I wouldn't be. No, yes, you would. You do what you want to do. So we need to take ownership. We need to man up, woman up in this process. And Abner is not being real with himself. Abner is so consumed in his hate and anger, he can't even consider that possibly this is best for the kingdom. Joab can't possibly think, I'm sorry, I just want to slow it down, try to get the name. Joab can't possibly consider, because he's so caught up in anger, that this truth with Abner and Ishbosheth, that Ishbosheth doesn't know, is best for the kingdom. So we see all this going on. Yes, ma'am.
And then too, because he's the head of the military, and he wasn't a part of this deal, that's like not calling up, Kerry, you know, Barack just doing something behind Kerry's back and say, oh yeah, by the way, we're now friends with ISIS.
This whole process, and to add to it, it was kind of acceptable in some sense because they would be out on military raids for lengthy periods. They would be gone for 6 months or so. So there was plenty of time to work this deal. But yes, I think there was some pride, but that major driving point is relatives, is blood. This guy killed my relative. Even though we had a lengthy discussion on that, he tried to tell him to back off, but he wouldn't. And so this process is coming up again. Look at this next verse, verse 26, someone read.
And when Joab had gone from David's presence, he sent messengers after Abner, who brought him back from the well of Sirah. But David did not know it.
David was like, you know what, man, get over it. The truce has been made. Everything is good. But Joab goes behind his back and does what? Yeah, he tracks him down and brings him back. Now, in Abner's mind, everything's good. There was peace. You know, maybe David needs to tell me something else. Look at verse 27, someone read.
Now when Abner had returned to Hebron, Joab took him aside in the gate to speak with him privately, and there stabbed him in the stomach, so that he died for the blood of Asahel, his brother.
Boy, this is deep, boy. This is like Pulp Fiction or something. I mean, it's just gangster. This is all. I mean, these guys are serious.
Like Criminal Minds.
Criminal Mind. I mean, all of these things are going on. He calls them over privately, and you know, Abner's like, "Cool, we're just gonna talk and do blindside."
So what does this mean for Joab? Now, he's killed this man that killed his brother, they had made peace. So what is he gonna get out of this now? He couldn't bring his brother back.
And that's what we're going to. It's all retribution. I mean, we see it over and over again in our society. People getting back. ISIS, you know, you kill a couple of them and they kill a couple more. And Russia, this Cold War. Every day I see the planes are flying over and then, I say, no, you can't fly over here. And then Russia goes, well, yes we can. We put 2 more up there. This whole power play. It's their boys and their toys. This whole process, this is mine. And now it's not just boys, we got girls and their toys. This power, who has more control, who has more power, and so Joab is taking it in his own hand. I'm going to take him out. I didn't like him in the first place. I don't believe that he's been truthful. I'm protecting the king. I think that's way back in his mind. The big thing is, I'm going to get you back. I've been waiting for the time. I hate you. I've been mourning my brother all these years. Every time I go home and I look at his picture, they ain't got pictures, but every time I see his name, I've been crying. And notice this is important. Where does he stab him at? You remember that? With his brother and that whole process. And also the stomach is very painful. I don't have any CNAs and stuff like that. That's very painful when you think about it, and it's often a slow death and intestines and everything. He meant what he did. He wanted him to hurt, and he went for everything he had.
This is prevalent. This is real prevalent in games where you have drive-by shooting, where they're getting the revenge of another gang member. This is all over. This is not only in California or somewhere. This is right here in Greensboro.
Right here.
But you know, many times he said, blood is thicker than water. And that was, then leave his home. And he stabbed his brother. He already knew that he wasn't gonna get off that easy. That's battle will work back up sooner or later. And, you know, when they call Walt like a friend, like he had something to tell him, he just took care of it, man.
Whatsoever man sow, that shall also reap. Thank God for Jesus. Every time I read the Old Testament, thank God for Jesus. Yes,
You
ma'am.
know, this makes me wonder about, people often say that times now are worse. But these things, there's nothing new. This went on then, and so and it's going on now. It always has gone on. Through every period of time, man has found destructive ways to take each other out. So when I hear people saying, oh, it's even worse now, is it really worse, or is it your CNN showing you what's going on?
And we do, scripture talks about trouble has always been here, but it's like a woman in birth. It's, at least when we go through, we'll see times of peace, but it gets closer and closer, and I think that's what we're feeling in our society. We know the trouble has always been here, but it's becoming more prevalent. The pains are screaming louder. You can see it even more. Homosexuality, lesbianism, it's always been around. But now it's like out in media. That which was done in dark is light, and the worst part is they knew what they were doing. What we do now is worse because we call that which is bad good. That's right. Right? I mean, I had to struggle, you know, abortion and understanding. We have to come to the point that that is a child. We were told that wasn't a child. That's just an embryo or egg or something of that sort. But we've come to now, we understand that really is a child. We've seen all the pictures, but we are still killing. We're still killing children. And we say that it's okay. And we use all kinds of rationale, and here there's a lot of rationale. Notice what it says at the end, so that he died for the blood of Asahel, his brother. That was his rationale. I'm going to get you back because you killed my brother. Look at that commentary. Joab pretended he wanted a private interview near the gate, but his real purpose was to kill Abner in revenge, which he did by stabbing him in the stomach, thus avenging his brother Ashael's death and eliminating a potential rival as commander-in-chief. Joab seemed unconcerned that Hebron was a city of refuge, where Abner was at least entitled to a trial. Numbers 35, 22, 25. Very important. The very place that he's killed at was a place of refuge. So if someone accidentally killed or didn't mean to kill, which he meant to kill his brother, but you were supposed to have a trial. But Abner was like, Joab was like, I don't care about this. I'm going to kill Abner, and that's just it. All right, so that whole driving force, very important. Did I get all hands? 28 and 29, someone read, please.
Afterward, when David heard it, he said, my kingdom and I are guiltless before the Lord forever of the blood of Abner and the son of Ner. Let it rest on the head of Joab and on all his father's house, and let there never fail to be in the house of Joab one who has a discharge or is a leper, who leans on a staff or falls by the sword, or who lacks bread.
Just a little humor. My dad, when he used to preach, he would always, when he talked about lepers, he would call them leapers. And I was just laughing. He was like, yeah, the 10 leapers came to Jesus. I was like, how did they jump? It is hard. But yeah, the lepers. Look at this. Do you believe this curse was too strong? Tabitha.
I think it shows how our lives impact others even when we're dead. So Asahel's decision to keep on running with his pride to get Abner has affected so many other people. Not even him. He's dead now. It's over for him. But now he's got this curse on his entire brother's family. His brother's going through this. Abner's got blood on his hands, all because Abner told him, stop following me. And he continued. And we see this even in our society today. Some things that have happened is because people won't let things go, or people have so much pride, and they're like, oh, I'm going to get this done, and they're dead and gone, but people are still fighting for what they started.
Right. That question, do you believe this curse was too strong? So you think it was
I
good?
think it was good, because sin follows the whole trail.
Okay,
It covers everyone. Once that one person sinned, which he didn't have to take that man's life. He could
okay,
have done it the right way and allowed everyone to go ahead and let him have a trial. But instead, he took it upon himself.
okay.
So if you commit a sin, that needs to go ahead down, and it needs to trickle down to your family what you've done. They need to go ahead and see what is happening. And, hey, this is why this is happening. This is why you're going through this. This is what caused this. This is what the real deal is.
Okay, all right. Bill?
I think it might have been a little too harsh though, because there's a lot of stuff happened. The dude lost someone in his family. He's angry anyways. He can't bring that person back. So it was wrong for him to go kill someone else, but he already had his punishment really. Can you punish him even any more than him like losing his family member? And the thing is, it's kind of the punishment to the people themselves that they made a wrong choice, they got angry, they had a fight. Maybe you should just end it. Leave it, say, this is the end, close it, the credits roll, you're done, instead of cursing his whole family forever.
Joab, he was a captain of an army. He went around, but he later on in the history, one that got David's son Absalom. He took care of him. This was no big deal for him.
Okay, all right. That was a part of his psyche.
To me, yeah, he'd take him out. He just asked to speak to him. And we just remember he killed my brother.
Okay, yes, ma'am?
Okay, and David saying my kingdom and I are guiltless.
We're gonna get to that. I don't know if we're gonna get to it tonight, but we're gonna get to that. Bianca?
Well, and I think too, I guess it's kind of like what Ms. Adrian said, but I think just like Ishbosheth was scared of Abner, I think David was a little bit nervous about Joab. Joab is obviously crazy. And so, you know, I mean, the thing to do would be to take Joab and punish him, would actually be to put him to death because he killed someone. And it was outside of wartime. But David's not going to do that because he's scared of Joab too.
All right. A lot of things. How do we curse people today?
Well, it just shows that you have to think twice about what you do, because when you do something, you're not just affecting yourself.
Okay, that's good. Affecting everybody else. How do we curse people today? I was like, well, you want me to say the word?
The way we treat people.
Okay, where we treat people, prejudice, really, we judge people by their appearances. Because something happened to one person, they look a certain way, we kind of assume, and that curse continues on. Or, you know, just how we look at people. And that's not just a black and white thing. I've seen it on all different kind of colors and traits. Very important. It could be skinny. Some people treat skinny people different than bigger people. Rick, because he's so light-skinned, he gets treated different than dark-skinned people. I mean, all of these things come forth. Old people get treated different than young people. But we see these curses can continue down just because our convoluted thinking process. And David just puts it out, your whole family line. Look what he says again. He said, there have never failed to be a house of Joab who has a discharge, or is a leper, it is hard though, who leans on the staff or falls by the sword, or who lacks bread, all because of what Joab did.
I think though that David's mind isn't in the right place right now, because when Asahel died, he didn't do anything. I mean, like we're going to see in the next couple of verses, he's going to be in sackcloth. Oh, poor Abner who died and all this stuff. But Joab's brother died, and he's like, that's okay. But because Abner is his ticket to the 11 other tribes, he's like, oh, you're messing with my kingdom now. You're messing with this. Of course you're cursed because your job is to get me the kingdom. And this is not getting me the kingdom. So I feel that David, everybody's thinking only about themselves and not about the people who are around.
We ain't heard nobody pray. Didn't hear nobody pray.
Well, I think though in David's mind, when Asahel died, they were in a battle. They were actually fighting. They shouldn't have been fighting. Supposed to be peaceful, but it was in a time of war. But with Abner, Abner was supposedly in a time of peace. And to be honest, Joab kind of usurped David's authority. David said, we're at peace with Abner. Joab said, no, we're not, and he killed him.
So I'm gonna read verse 30, final verse of the night.
So Joab and Abishai, his brother, killed Abner because he had killed their brother Ashael at Gibeon in the battle.
I just want you to really think about how many family feuds still burn in the church today. Family feuds, or whatever, however it started. Cousins can't get along with cousins, sisters can't get along with sisters, brothers can't get along with brothers. They don't like each other. They can't sit on the same row in church. They churches can't even be in the same county. They're just so upset with each other because of something that was started. And we see this is going to be detrimental to the nation. It's going to continue on this cycle of I'm going to get you back. Isn't that what's going on in Texas? With the gang, the bikers, I'm going to get you back. I'm going to get you back. Don't even know the person real good, but I'm going to get you back. We got to be careful. The battle's not ours, but it's who? The Lord. The Lord. Deacon Lenny, amen. Come on to your feet. Let's close out. Thank y'all again.